Hello everyone. Welcome back to Right Fashion Academy YouTube channel for another interesting tutorial here on this channel. So today's tutorial, we will be making an asymmetric bustier with yoke, as you can see exactly on the thumbnail. Okay, so to begin this tutorial, I've already drafted my basic bodice asymmetric bodies. As you all know, if we are making asymmetric bodies, whether on the yoke line or on the bust line or wherever, provided it's asymmetric, because they are not the same, we have a full basic bodice pattern drafted right for the asymmetric. So here I'm going to begin with the basic technique which we have been following in this tutorial, which is dividing our shoulder seam line by 2. What I have here is my natural neckline, which you can get with your bust circumference divided by 12. You put in the depth and put in the width. Okay, I did that for both. I got 3.25 for depth and width to give me my neckline. My shoulder line, shoulder divided by 2, that is what I have right here. So now I'm coming over to my shoulder seam line and I'm going to divide by 2. I'll make a mark to it and connect to the bust point. So the line I have here is my bust point line. If you have been following our tutorials, this is my chest line, this is my bust point line. So because this is asymmetric, whatever I do here, I'll also do on this side as well. So here I'm going to divide my shoulder seam line and I'll also make a mark to it and I'll connect to the bust point. So that is the first thing I would want to do, or I'm doing. Alright, so the next is this is my bust point like I said, and this is the under bust point. So to determine how exposed or not exposed your neckline will be, I love to use my bust point difference, which is I have here. From here to here I measure, that becomes my bust radius. So this bust radius measurement, I'm going to take what I got from here to here. I'm taking it all around. Okay, so wherever you see these dots, that is exactly where the bust for the owner of this dress is going to sit. So the bust is actually going to sit right on this circle I'm making. So when you are also making your bust pad, that's when you are padding the bust here. The bust radius is also a perfect guide for padding your bust here. Okay, so this is that and that is that. So once I'm done marking out my bust position, which I'm done marking out, it will guide me right now on how to create my neckline. So on this line, I love to take my bust radius mark. Okay, so this is where I have my bust radius mark. For my neckline, from that point I'm coming up by 1 inch. Okay, so I have my bust covered effectively. Okay, this is my bust radius. I go up by 1 inch. So if you don't want your bust to be covered, you can create your neckline on the bust radius directly. So this is what I mean. Instead of having my neckline line on the bust line this way, of course you can still have your neckline on the bust line. Okay, you can also have that same neckline. You can also go up by 0.5. If I have to go up by 0.5, this is my 0.5. Okay, so let me just go up by 0.5 so I don't have the neckline hanging so much. So this is the line I'm working with as my neckline. So this neckline I'm working with right now, I'm going to create the sweetheart. This is actually a deep sweetheart neckline. So since it's deep, from the bust point as it is on the thumbnail, I'll just come up by 0.5, and that is how deep I want this neckline to be. So I'm going to place my pattern ruler from this line where it terminates with this line to the 0.5. Can you see? I flip it back this way because I'm working on asymmetric, and this is it returns back. So you can see the sweetheart neckline is accurately drafted. So the next is to create the asymmetric. This is our asymmetric, and it goes from the center front line into this line. Okay, so I'll just come in this way and place my pattern ruler. I'll just place it like this. Just watch what I'm doing here. I just want to, okay, so it's not actually at this point but at this point for what I want. So this part of the yoke is the yoke. You have the flowers, that is the flower patches of the lace patches, and I'm going to show you how you can achieve this effectively as well. So we are done with this. Next we want to do is to measure what we have, because we have a mandarin collar for this dress. So since you have a mandarin collar, it means we are going to also draft the mandarin collar. So you can see how I'm taking my neckline. I have it at 5.5. So I will write this 5.5 from here to here is my 5.5, as you can see, because the neckline I'm going to draft now will also serve as this. It has nothing to do with the asymmetric design. So we are done with the neckline right now. So everything we have here is our yoke, including the part of the flower patched yoke. All right, so right away, the next I want to do right now is I want to start the bustier. So to create this bustier, this is what I'm going to do to create my bustier. Remember, this bustier we are creating, we did not run the neckline into the armhole. Instead, we are running it into the sleeve itself. So there's going to be an extension and there's going to be a replacement. So now I'm going to go in on this line, and on this line will serve as our over bust tightening. So from this center point, I go in by 0.75 here. I do the same from here, 0.75 here. So doing that, I'm tightening the over bust. So you can see how I'm doing that. I'll flip my ruler this way and I do that. So if you have been following us on this channel, you'll be familiar with what I just did right here. So because it's asymmetric, I'll also repeat the same thing I did. 0.75 here, 0.75, that is 3/4. 3/4 of an inch, 3/4 of an inch. And then I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. So we are going to replace this 1.5 inch that is exactly what I'm trying to let you know, because the neckline runs out. If it's going this way, there won't be any need. So from the armhole here, I'm going to replace my dart by 1.5. I'll make my mark, and I'm going to recreate my armhole from that point. I'll recreate my bustier armhole from that point. You can see I'll just go in. Let me use the smaller part of my ruler so I get a curve to it. So I'll still come over and bring it out at 1.5, because by the time I cut off that right now, because the neckline is running here, there's going to be a shortage to it. So I'll quickly do this, as you can see. All right, so that is that, and that is what we need on this point. So next we want to talk about the under bust. So the under bust tightening is another tightening process that gives us a perfect fit using this method. So your dart has to be at 1.5 to achieve, that is 0.75, 0.75 to achieve a perfect under bust tightening. Your bust dart is the difference between your back and your front. So you can see the difference between my back and the front. This is my back length line. This is where it stops, and this is my front length. So what I have here is 2 inches, and that is what I imputed from the bust line, 2 inches, and divided by 2, as you can see. So next, I'll be coming to the center front on the under bust line. I will take my bust circumference, divide by 4. This is my bust circumference, divide by 4. What I have left, I'm going to put 0.25 here, and the rest of what I have left on this point, I will repeat the same, 0.25 here. That is 1/4 of an inch here. Okay, 1/4 of an inch here, and the rest of what I have remaining there. So I'll advise, if you don't understand what we are doing right here, you can watch other videos on this channel. That will give you an idea of what we are doing here, because we always do it on this channel all the time. So here I'm going to connect this to this, connect that to that. I'll also come this way. I'm going to flip my pattern ruler this way, and I'll flip it this way to create the bust here. Okay, so here I'm going to connect this way, and I'm going to connect that way, and we are done with the front piece of this dress. So I would love to cut what we have on this front piece of this dress, so we can start off the back piece of this dress immediately. So I'll just cut on the bust, the side of the dress, or the front dress. Let me just separate back and front. Okay, so this is the waist line. I'll cut through the new armhole line, which we just recreated. So the yoke, I'll still cut my armhole line. That is for the yoke, for the front yoke. And I'll also cut, if you look at the neckline, you can see I did not tamper with the neckline, because the neckline is actually a high neckline. So being a high neckline, it's going to have a mandarin collar attached to it. So since we have a mandarin collar attached to it, I maintain my neckline, my natural neckline for the mandarin collar. Then here, this is the armhole. So I go this way because of the bustier. And here